got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights on here in Silverstone. The engines are revving, the cars are away, and we are off racing here. Off the line here, Blotel already looking at the inside of Shenjay. Shenjay trying to close in through the first turn. Not too much action. There's a spin. Zay's gone round. And even the fastest lap times can't recover you through a turn one if you don't know what to do in the rain. Very unfortunate for the Ferrari. How sad. As we move up through now, there's been a variety of positions changes. Well, positions changed over here, we'll say, as Adrian and Crampy right now. Well, they were wheel to wheel, but now it's John looking at Crampy. We're coming into Brooklands. Oh, this is already tight here. The timing tower playing its usual magic tricks, and we're trying to find what we can, and this is quite the exchange coming through Luffield right now. Crampy on the inside. Yoda, how does this look for him? Well, he can't see much, can he? The spray is absolutely massive coming off of these cars. Yoda looking very impatient around the outside of Crampy. Yasko behind him, and we've had Javier rejoin the session. It's very fortunate. Mikau right now absolutely hunting down Blotel, and how are things looking from your perspective here, Unicorn?
Yeah, well, that opening sector, obviously, Zay trying it around the outside of turn one, not finding the space he needed. The other Ferrari, S-King, he was having a nice little battle with Alex Bitter. He found a way past the Renault, but Alex, he defended it, coming around the outside through the loop and Aintree down onto the Wellington straight and retook the position pretty much as soon as it was taken. Now, Yoda still looking for a way past Grumpy, not quite finding enough speed down into the Vale chicane, and everyone here, you've just got to be as patient as you possibly can be, as Microlander, well, he's dropping down my timing tower, but he's actually still in first place, so...
Well, Yoda's really sticking with Crampy right now, and I just want to take a quick moment to shout out none other than the legend, Mr. Raggy himself. Thank you so much, sir, for the raid of 37. Greatly appreciate it. Very nice of you to join us here for our 1-year anniversary. 1 year ago today, ladies and gentlemen tuning in, we took to UK, of course, the Silverstone circuit for the first time, and this was the weather. And this is going to be a lot of fun. Zay right now in 19th position. He's got Javier looking at him, and this timing tower is still playing tricks on everybody as it's Darian, Microlander, and... well, actually, it's Microlander leading this race. Darian's a little bit further back, unfortunately, but Mikau in 5th with Bido right behind him, and there's a massive train even in these wet conditions, although no DRS for these racers.
Yeah, Yoda's still just looking for a way to try and find a gap to put his car into to get past Crampy, but Crampy doing an excellent job keeping that Mercedes at bay. And Crampy's actually dropped a place on the start of this race. Not too many people have done so. Shenjay and Domi, they've exchanged in the opening laps. Domi now up into P2, Shenjay down into P3. Crampy as well, he's dropped one, and well, Zay, Javier and Darian Alfie, the only other drivers who have lost places so far in this race. Is, I think it's a little bit squirrely coming out of Stowe, but nothing too bad to write home about, but still just trying to find a way past Crampy, and that kind of mistake isn't going to help him too much, as now there's still, not only is Yoda behind Crampy, but Crampy is pretty tight to the rear of Jean as well, and well, Adrian's not too far away from them, and Adrian's already picked up a penalty as well, as has Moen in these tricky conditions, so I imagine that's going to be something we're going to see play into the result of this race, as Bitto picks up a 3-second time penalty already.
Looks like someone's had an issue here. Noodles has dropped off the rear of Darian and Javier. Yoda right now still so tight with Crampy, and it's very hard to overtake in these conditions. A lot of risks need to be taken here, and it really is a train. Look at the energy deployment on a few of these racers. Yoda has a full battery at his disposal right now, but this rain just isn't letting up.
Yeah, it's super heavy, and not only do the conditions just make it tricky to drive, but at the same time they also make it just difficult to see when you're in one of these trains, because not only is Yoda having to try and find a place with enough traction to find a way around Crampy, but he's also just not going to be able to see being so close to the rear of that Alfa Romeo, and everyone else behind them as well is going to have exactly the same problem, and you just got to be very patient in these conditions, as Jean is equally as close to the rear of Adrian as Yoda is to the rear of Crampy. The AlphaTauri coming through Stowe, but still, just like Yoda, unable to find a way to worm the car past and this train.
Right now we're seeing a Ferrari pull off miracles, miracles in the hangar straight.
Well, here goes Yoda, I think, looking at the inside of turn 1. Crampy having a little bit of a connection issue, but this car has stayed exactly where Yoda needs it to, and it's 10th place for Yoda. But Crampy looking back up the inside. Doesn't look like he's going to find the traction, and then Yoda goes around the outside and into the points, and this might have slowed Crampy down. And Yasko now, looking at the rear of the Alfa Romeo, not going to find a way past. But Yoda, his patience has been rewarded.
Yasko, Wisp, Zamis is in that mixture as well. Zamis, a very common collected driver, and something that we haven't seen is, you know what, if I recall correctly, from this race in F1 2019 when this began, we all pit in that race. So I don't think this is a straight shot to the end on these wets. We'll have to see how the degradation plays in here. Yasko's had an issue coming out of Chapel, and here goes Wisp straight through. Where does Zamis land? Oh, he's wheel to wheel with him. I looked behind Yasko. Zamis is already there. Round the outside of Stowe. This is tricky. This is tricky. There goes the McLaren. Zay, with supersonic speed right now, has caught up within a second of Zamis already in just a sector.
Yeah, Zamis, he did very, very well. Yasko wide, like you said, coming out of Chapel. And Wisp, well, he was able to breeze past as Darian Alfie falls down the timing tower. But Zamis had to slam on the brakes. That's why he was wheel to wheel going down into Stowe. And now Darian and Javier side by side through into turn 1. Darian coming out on top of that fight though. But yeah, Zamis' lightning reflexes managing to keep him in this race without any conflict. Zay, well, he picks up a 3-second time penalty. His performance has been far from flawless like his qualifying run was. Now the two Alfa Romeos have Zamis to deal with, and there's a yellow flag. It looks like it's Darian again, the racing point in the grass, really not having a fun time in these conditions. Very much struggling to find grip.
I'm just struggling with where to look in this race. It's a lot of rain and a lot of very, you know, I want to say tight intervals because of these wet conditions. They are quite tight. Zamis with a slide out of Stowe, keeping with Wisp right now. Zay on the inside coming through right now. Zamis says no way. We'll see what Zay is able to do here. He's just got absolute ultimate traction in this car.
Yeah, Zamis doing very well to hold off a very calm and collected looking Ferrari, but like you said, Zamis, he's about as calm as it comes when it comes to these racing drivers. The way he races is just completely unlike most other drivers I think we see. He just seems so experienced and so collected in the heated moments of this race, and that braking point, avoiding Yasko when he went right. It's just one of those examples where Zamis just really shows his true colours and his true class as a driver, and now trying to find his way past the Alfa Romeos, while also battling the Ferrari behind. He's doing very, very well to get his Wisp now having a little bit of an issue. Is this going to be a way for Zamis to find a way through coming into Cops? I don't think it is. Zay still tight on the rear of them.
This is such a tight battle here, and I'm wondering if Zamis will get Wisp before Zay gets into this.
Jean as well. He just had a little bit of trouble. But here goes Zay up the inside. Not finding enough space. Zamus just completely closing the door. Knows exactly where to put that car to stop the Ferrari from coming through. Wisp a little bit deep into the Vale chicane. And now a little bit sideways on exit as well. Zamus avoiding all contact, looks for a way. Might have a look up the inside down into turn 1. Zay looks up the inside of Zamus, but neither of the two able to find a way past.
Battles like this make me so nervous. They really do. I feel like someone might get caught here. Especially if Zay keeps poking his beacon. What's he able to do down Wellington here?
Well, he's got a lot of ERS to play with.
Yeah, that's astonishing.
There he goes.
This reminds me of Spain 1996. Anyone know what I'm talking about? Was it 96 or 95? Someone let me know.
He's gonna have a look at Wisp as well, but Wisp not showing him an open door either. And I'm sure Zamus will be very, very hungry to get back past the Ferrari.
By the way, for those tuning into the stream as we watch this absolutely heated battle between these three racers, if there's any streamers in the chat, that have come to hang out, let us know you're here. We're happy to celebrate the 1-year anniversary with you. And for all of those open lobby runners, we have a fantastic announcement for you guys ahead of the finale of this race. It's a great public service announcement. You guys are going to be thrilled, I promise.
Well, I just hopped on board with Jean, and it appears that I've given him the commentator's camera cards. I don't even have to say anything, just hopping on board, he picked up a penalty. Now as he is really hunting down Adrian, looking for this PA. Adrian taking his lines, and well, Jean, he seems a little bit faster through some of these corners, but he's not finding the gaps. I think. Well, let's open the door to Yoda, who's now up the inside, coming out of the Wellington straight into Brooklands, and the Mercedes finds himself another position.
Looks like Zay's having a little bit of difficulty right now getting by the very difficult to pass that is Wisp in the Alfa Romeo right now. Zamus is going to have a look here, and I don't know where the burst of speed came out of on that Ferrari. Where is he finding all of this traction, Unicorn? He has an amazing setup.
His setup must be, Cloud9. That's the finest setup that anyone's ever created in this game. It's almost like he's got dries on that car in a completely different track, as Zamus has a little bit of a swing out of Chapel, but now Zay finally finding a way past Wisp, as Wisp looks up the inside now into Stowe, but Zay, even off of the dry line, finding an incredible amount of grip on the outside of Stowe and holds it down into Vale. But the two cars behind him, they'll be looking to try and get back, but as Zamus goes to overtake Wisp, he's looking for it into turn 1. Backing out of it though, doesn't want to cause a collision.
He's run the outside. Run the outside, Zamus on the inside into 3 here. Does he have this? Does he have the traction he needs? Ooh, what a move from Zamus there. Wisp, I think, losing a little bit of focus maybe on the rear of Zay. I definitely would. My jaw would be on the floor if somebody overtook me like that.
Well, still yet to get in the points. Jean holding the door to the final points position. 4 laps to go. It's a monumental climb if the Ferrari wants to see himself in that 3rd race, but it seems unlikely that anyone could pull that off. But that battle is very heated down for the final points positions. Adrian leading Yoda, and Jean Yoda the only of the 3 without a penalty to his name.
Yoda right now. For those in the chat, I'm not entirely sure why you're not able to clip at the moment.
Clips were working earlier today elsewhere on Twitch. I don't know if they've now disabled them, if that was the root of the issues they've been having. But
well, we'll try to get that sorted out for you ahead of the next race.
Jeremy's still pretty tight to the rear of Microlander. He hasn't made a move on the Williams all race long. But he's in striking distance in these last 3 laps.
Ooh, Yoda's just sitting on Adrian as we come down the straight into Cops now. Does he have a move around the outside here? Yes, he does. Wheel to wheel coming through Cops in the torrential downpour. Does he hold this? Does he hold this? Yoda right now in this Mercedes as we come through into Meggetts and Beckett's. He's a little bit more daring through on that line. Adrian has to get on his brake, and now he's looking at the rear view of this Mercedes, and that was a beautiful move from Yoda right there. Now Jean, a little bit of a slip on the rear of Adrian as we come out of Chapel here. He gets on that wet line and loses a massive amount of time.
Yeah, and this battling has cost them because Zane's just got past Crampy going through into Maggots. Crampy put up a very, very valiant defense to the Ferrari, but nothing he could do to stop him. Traction through Maggots and Meggetts was very, very strong, and now Jean and Adrian battling. It's going to cost them time to the Ferrari behind, who is having, well, I'd say a perfect race, but the crash into turn 1 wasn't exactly ideal.
I hope he's enjoyed it. Adrian
a
and
lot
John.
of positions gained.
Adrian and John now, they're doing the dance as we come through the loop into the Wellington Straight.
Now the Ferrari as well, looking at the rear of Adrian inside, but not brave enough on the brakes into Brooklands to find a way past the Red Bull. Now, looking around the outside for the cutback. Through the exit of Luffield, but there's a slide, a big slide, and finding his way into what I think is the MotoGP pit lane. And that is Zay down into 13th place. Another big slide and a big mistake from the Ferrari. And that looks like his chance of finishing in the points and getting into that third place, that third race is well and truly done and dusted, Striff.
Microlander right now leading this race, and he's been doing a very good job of that with Domi and Chinde in close proximity. Blotel, Mikal, it's just been a train in this very, very torrential downpour, and really it is a race of survival and to see who takes the risks, and we've seen a good few risks from drivers here. Yoda with an amazing overtake. We've got a little bit more exchanging at the rear of this grid as Yasko seems to have had an issue. Javier coming through behind Darian. They have just passed Yasko by as he rejoins the circuit. But we have another 20 drivers lining up to take to the Silverstone circuit for another 18-minute qualifier and a 25% distance race. And then after that, it'll be the top 2 of both of these races to go to the finale. And that's going to be, I imagine, a very, very rapid race indeed. That will be clear running. So we're going to see a ton of overtaking, I imagine. To everybody that has been following along with us for this race and who has joined in with us in the new year for our 1-year anniversary event, thank you so very much. My name is Striffium here from Canada. Joining me is Unicorn from the UK. Season 4 is coming very, very soon. We have an announcement following the end of our final race this evening. Our promotion, well, our Season 4 video is finished, and we're going to premiere here for the first time. So we hope you'll tune in for that. Going to be a lot of fun, and Season 4 will be starting very, very soon. Applications are open for that, so we hope you'll join us for a ton of league racing.
Yeah, and the amount of people who have already applied is absolutely staggering. And I think those applications alone is just an excellent celebration of the Misfits and the year of what it's become. Like you said, the first race, what we're sort of emulating here in some ways is struggle to collect 20 people. Now 10 times that have already applied for the 4th season of Misfits Racing Action. And, well, as we're on this last lap of the Grand Prix, there's a huge battle going on for the final points position. And, well, Domi's still in the rear of Michaelander as well for that lead.
Adrian is the gatekeeper of that 10th position. Crampy, Zamis, and Zay are all knocking on his door. Domi, meanwhile, at the front of things, he's hunting down Michaelander. However, he has a 3-second time penalty. And what's happened with Crampy?
It's just no traction coming out of Aintree. And it's let Zamis by and it's let Zay by as well. Very unfortunate. No damage on the Alfa Romeo, but points chances scuppered and completely evaporated his hopes of being in that final race as well, I think. So, very, very unfortunate for the young Brit there. Now Zay looking at the inside of Zamis. A huge, huge draw of speed and traction coming out of Woodcote. And he takes P11. As the leaders make their way to the finish line. And, well, Michaelander becomes the first winner of the evening. Domi P2 with a penalty puts Shenjay and Blotel onto the podium.
Well, this is the first of, I guess we'll call them the semi-final rounds, or the qualifying rounds, we'll say. Michaelander with the win, Shenjay second, Blotel third, Domi in fourth, Mikau in fifth. We've got King in sixth, Bido in seventh, Yoda in 8th, Jean in 9th, with Adrian dropping on penalties. It looks like Zamis is going to collect that final spot. So that is your top 10, who will seemingly be advancing now through into the final race. And then we are about to do another race to establish the other half of that grid. Good game, good race to everybody involved, and I'm quite excited to see how the next race pans out now, as this one was quite thrilling. It provided us with a good chunk of overtakes, and that is the first 25% race finished. So in just a few moments' time, we're going to be ready to jump into the next one.
Yeah, plenty of action in that opening race. 2 more to go. And that has gone, very well for some people, not so well for others. Joda picks up driver of the day. The other Mercedes, Zamis, just scraping it into that top 10 as well on the fact that he had no penalties. The driver ahead did. There is Michaelander, a very, very strong performance in that opening race from him.
Take a look at the final classification one more time here, as it is Michaelander in the Williams taking the win here around the home circuit for the driver. You love to see it, and that is Shenjay in the Haas, the Rating Tier 1 champion, in second position, with Blotel rounding out your top 3. Domi, Mikau, King, Bido with Yoda, Jean, and Zamis, the founder of Misfits, making it through into the final. And I'm sure he's very thrilled about that. It was touch and go for a moment there for Zamis. He had a heck of a drive, 15th to 10, and he had to move his way through some very, very tough opponents. But it was a stellar drive from everybody. Of course, they did finish the race. A few drivers with penalties, but nothing too much to put them out of the points. That's what you love to see.
Yeah, very, very nice opening race. And like you said, Jean, Yoda, and Zamis all putting in a shift there, all starting outside the top 10, but fighting their way into that final race.